Hello, and welcome to our second video on the Dungeon Quest series. The first video was an introduction and basic strategy for the first 20 levels. This video picks up at level 7 and is designed to give you a more in-depth understanding of gameplay. At first, Dungeon Quest seems pretty simple. You run around and kill things and upgrade weapons. While that's basically true, choosing the best equipment becomes increasingly important. In this video, we will discuss considerations when choosing equipment, discuss when and how to use crystals, discuss when and how to use gold, buy an imp, adjust options to pick up more rare items, discuss advanced equipment, and discuss what will be next in our next video. To start off in this video, we've just started Dungeon Level 7. We are at Player Level 13 on very easy difficulty level and have just over 19,000 in gold. You will notice I haven't spent all of my stat points yet. I also picked up a horn on level 6, so I'm going to use it. As I stated in video 1, the axe is my favorite main hand weapon, and the horn is my favorite offhand weapon. Let's go into the inventory screen and identify all items. Now let's select the horn. You'll notice that the horn uses more mana points and shows a damage per second of 108 versus 359 for the hatchet. I don't care, I want the horn. I also get some nice affixes of attack speed, some extra damage, and health point regeneration. I'm losing 124 for my total health points and losing some mana regeneration, but I really like the horn. There's no other gear in the bag that I want, so I sell all. Now let's move to the stats page. As you'll see, I'm following the 2-to-1 ratio of power to health and leaving mana alone for now. Moving on to the Hero tab, I have a hero point to spend, and I spend it on strength. Normally at this stage of the game, I don't want to spend any crystals, but the horn really needs an element, so I spend a calcite crystal and add an element and get poison for the element. Now we'll watch the horn in action. I like the horn because the primary skill is sprint, which makes you move faster, and with an element you get to leave an element behind to do some damage. You'll notice as I'm playing that my mana bar is not staying full. I'm simply not regenerating mana as quickly as I'm spending it, even using just the horn. You'll notice that I'm not using my sword except on the worms. After picking up the loot, let's get rid of that basic helmet and get something a little nicer. The other sword isn't as good as what I'm using, so I sell everything. Keep an eye on the lower left corner and you'll see that my B button has a timer on it. This is the cooldown timer. You'll hear this hiss sound when it goes off. At this point I'm holding the button down so the attacks happen as often as possible. Fortunately, the trail of poison takes a couple of seconds to stop after the attack, so I leave a steady stream of poison behind. The poison by itself will kill a lot of enemies. We're back to another worm, the Malum spawn. You'll notice the red areas. He has the ability to leave explosive charges. The red is a warning to stay out of that zone. Finishing off the dungeon level, let's pick up everything and see what we have. I found a helmet that is better. It adds a little bit of attack speed, some additional mana points, and some mana leech. I need some mana, so this is great timing. I also pick up some luck. Luck determines the quality of the loot that is dropped. The higher the luck is, up to a cap of 650%, the better chance the items of higher rarity will drop. I've also found an axe. I don't care about losing a significant amount of DPS. I want an axe, and I'm taking it. Time to sell everything else and go to the next dungeon level. Now let's use the horn and see if we can keep the mana regenerating fast enough to use it full time. Always try to find the tower shrine as quickly as possible, as its effects last only for that level. Unfortunately, I got an epic enemy this time. You'll notice I get low on mana and move away so I can try to refill a little bit. I also break a couple of destructibles hoping they contain a mana orb. If you ever do need to retreat, always move back from where you've already been. Moving forward will spawn new enemies, and that just makes things even harder when you're low on mana or health points. I've built up a little bit of mana, and I go back for another round. I've picked up another axe. It has more damage per second, but it uses more mana points, and it doesn't have any mana regeneration or health point regeneration. Because of that, I'll stick with the axe I have for now. If you click on the area where a piece of gear is shown in the upper right or left corner, you will get the full properties of the item. I already talked about the horn, but this shows the nature, wisdom in this example, the number of attacks per second, the damage the element does, the main skill of the weapon, quality, and item level. Clicking the right arrow will show the special skill of the weapon. In the area where the main skill is shown for weapons, the talent of armor and jewelry will be shown. Weapons don't have talents, armor and jewelry don't have special skills. So, now we know that our horn's nature is wisdom. What does that mean? Let's go look at the codex. Before we open the codex, notice I have one hero point. Let's go to the dictionary, natures, and find wisdom. Now let's go check the axe real quick and check its nature. Its nature is blessed. Let's go back to the codex and see what that does for us. Now let's look at what's happened. Notice the hero points now. I've gained 2 hero levels just by using the codex. You don't actually gain a hero level each time you open the codex. It just happened that the points I earned for reading the codex advanced me 2 hero levels. You will notice that my style of play is to run around using the horn and letting the damage over time effect of the elements do most of the damage. I will use the axe when needed, but the horn really does most of the work. Because I typically kill the enemies and then go back to pick up the loot, I sometimes will go back over an area I've already picked up. It takes a little bit of extra time, but I want to make sure I've picked up every item I can. Now that we've finished with dungeon level 8, let's go check out the loot. The armor has a better armor rating, but it doesn't have any special extra attack speed or mana regeneration. Because I really need to keep my mana regeneration as high as possible right now, I keep what I have. I now have enough gold to buy an imp. Once I've purchased the imp from the merchant, I need to go back to the inventory tab and use the equip button to set the imp as my pet. As we start level 9, since we already have an imp, let's change the rarity level of the items we want to pick up. The imp will pick up everything below that level, and after picking up 5 items, will craft us a new item of at least level rare. It may also create gold, crystals, or myth stones from the items it picks up. Now, the rest of the video is going to be discussion of the game as a whole, not what is happening on screen. I'll leave the video portion running, so we have something to watch, but the video portion is just background from this point forward. Let's discuss spending gold. At this stage of the game, gold is not easy to find. As we progress through the game, gold will become much more plentiful. For now, I only want to spend gold on my first imp and buying crystals and myth stones from the merchant. As you kill enslavers, you will gain new pets. For the time being, just use the imp you bought and wait until you find another one and compare the affixes that it has versus the imp you currently have. The imp's skills will improve as it levels up and as you complete the Save Enslaved Pets feat. You will find that as the game progresses, crystals and myth stones become very important. They allow you to improve your gear. However, I don't want to spend any crystals or myth stones unless absolutely necessary. Once we pick up legend level items for gear, then we can start working on crafting weapons, armor, and jewelry. So, for now, only spend a crystal if you must add an element to one of your items. As you increase the level of gear, be sure to set the item rarity level higher so that your imp is picking up all lower level items and building new items. I cannot stress enough how important the codex is to understanding this game. There are numerous feats, and the feat rewards aid in progressing through the game. Our next video will pick up with legend items, and we will pick up again around player level 50. For now, keep using the primary skill of the horn and the secondary skill of the axe, and upgrade your gear when you find better items with the affixes you want. For more information, please visit www.shinyboxgames.com/blog. There you will find a link to the forums where you can ask questions and learn more about the complex areas of the game. Thanks for watching.